You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets caught real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score. Never getting bored, lots of blood and gore. Always wanting more, freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel it worth their party. And if you start shit, you be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped. You be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight.
Thanksgiving, family coming together, millions traveling across this beautiful country. Some conversations will be tough, but you're tough too. You may have been on the losing side of this election, but you are on the right side of history. We're still in this fight, and so are you. You may not feel thankful this year, but America is still here, and still a nation of enormous blessings. Yes, we'll have to fight for her, but she'll always be worth fighting for. It won't be easy, but America is stronger than him, stronger than hate, bigger than one election. So this week, let's give thanks, and next week, let's give them hell.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the VOR podcast on Sunday episode. We are so thankful to be here. We are happy that you are here with us. Do we have an amazing episode lined up? We're going to talk about how Donald Trump's cabinet is basically just a giant idiotic joke at this point. None of the people that he's been appointing know anything about the positions they're about to hold. Some of them have already backed out. Some are on the verge of being, pushed out, forced out, whatever you want to say. So we're going to go over a couple of those. We are going to talk about the United Healthcare CEO being assassinated. And no, we can't show the video of it for, obvious reasons, because it's, murder and whatnot. But we don't condone, murder or killing someone or taking a life for any reason, unless it's in self-defense or whatever. But the internet collectively does not give a shit about the fact that this guy was just assassinated on the streets of New York. And if anything, people are kind of fanboying over the of the assassin. So we're going to talk about that.
It's just funny. If you think about it, we're not going to get into it at this second. It's later in the show, but maybe if we didn't see people getting gunned down in the streets every single day, it would be more shocking.
Right. Maybe. Or, our kids getting shot in schools on a regular basis. We're kind of numb to all of it. And we'll get into it more. We do have some hope for you, though, in this show. We do have some Democrats that are fighting back, some of the younger stars within the Democratic Party. So we want to highlight that as well, because like I said in the video at the beginning, we have to fight. We can't just lay down and die over this. Okay, this is not the end. Okay, it's the beginning of something better, hopefully.
You have a choice. Either stick around and kick ass or run. And if you run, I don't even know that I would blame you, especially if it's for preservation and safety, but choose to fight, because if not, then everything you yelled about and wanted before the election meant nothing if you're just going to throw it away. So
exactly. So to end the video, however, this episode, we do have a video. Something Gavin Newsom said recently when he was at the southern border. Very cryptic. I'm reading too much into it, but it's worth sticking around for at the end.
Yeah.
It has to do with the whole thing that like Mike and I have said, something about this election just doesn't feel right. Something is off and we are not buying it. And this kind of justifies what we've been thinking.
But unlike MAGA, we're not going to start making up conspiracies just because it's fun and easy. We're going to let it play out the way the people in charge that we elected to safeguard democracy are working on it. We'll see.
Right. So let's see. Who do we have so far in Donald Trump's staff? Okay. We have, I think we're up to 13 or 14 billionaires.
Yes.
And keep in mind, there's only 800 billionaires in the United States right now.
Percentage-wise, we will have the most billionaires running a government out of anyone in history, any country in history. That's terrifying.
And we have 11 Fox News contributors. Jesus Christ. All right, so let's
I guess that $750 million lawsuit really was nothing when they got what they wanted, because now Rupert Murdoch has put people in place. Positions. Think about that.
Yes, he has. Let's look at who we have so far. We have, oh, no, wrong slide. Sorry, there we go. We have Elon Musk, of course, the richest man in the world, whose values are going up as we speak.
Yeah.
People see, let me pull this down real quick. See, people keep saying, oh, he destroyed Twitter. No, dude, no. You realize that he has made like $100 billion since Donald Trump was elected like a month ago.
It was called an acceptable loss. Right. He calculated it. Well, he didn't.
He did. So first he started talking to Putin, and then he made an unsolicited offer to buy Twitter, and then he intentionally turned Twitter into a Russian propaganda tool to get Donald Trump elected. Yep. And now he is seeing his return on not only he's seeing his ROI, his return on investment. So not only is he making money hand over fist, but now he's basically the first lady. Everybody's named him Elonia Musk. Yeah, and I think it's very appropriate. Sorry.
Let me wait. What's really interesting is it isn't just the fact that he bought Twitter and used it as a pro-Nazi propaganda tool to help Trump get elected. But then he also spent $250 million more through a super PAC directly to get Donald Trump elected.
Yes,
all right. He has spent billions of dollars to buy his spot in our government. And that's not even deniable.
Yep. An illegal immigrant who's been rich his entire life is now going to be in charge of cutting your Social Security, your Medicaid, your food stamps, basically anything. See, because they think anything that doesn't make money is government waste. That's how they see it. They don't see
capitalism.
Right. They don't see it as government spending. They see it as government waste. It's not, So, all right. So let's, Vivek Ramaswamy. I didn't know this dipshit was a billionaire. God, I swear to God. I don't know who this guy is, but the Treasury Secretary.
Oh, we got Linda McMahon.
Yeah, Linda McMahon, Howard Lutnick. We have Doug Burgum. Then we also have Mossad, I don't know how to say his last name, Middle East advisor, Warren Stevens, Charles Kushner, ambassador to France.
His son-in-law's dad.
Yes. Keep in mind, Donald Trump pardoned that guy. That is a man that Donald Trump pardoned for crimes. So he took a criminal. I mean, these are all criminals. Most billionaires, with the exception of very few.
Become a billionaire without at least being a degenerate scumbag. But hey,
some people have. I mean, like Taylor Swift's a good example. She's a billionaire, and she's actually a good person.
Fair point. What I'm saying? But at least she produces something. Think about that. She creates something for people to consume that isn't necessitated by a misery, by a need to live. She's like, I make music and people like it. The rest of these people are like, you want healthcare? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. All right. And then who else do we have? Kelly Loeffler, small business.
She's a billionaire?
I didn't know that either. And
she's one of the dumbest humans I've ever witnessed.
David Sachs, who is going to be the AI and crypto czar.
What the hell is that? That's not even
They're going to end up devaluing the dollar by doing
because don't forget, Donald Trump demanded during his campaign that he is going to punish countries that remove the dollar as their standard unit of business. So what Donald Trump is going to try and do is get his despicable clause into some crypto scheme and call it the new dollar or something, and he's going to replace the dollar with a cryptocurrency, and everyone is screwed. Everyone.
This is so bad.
But it's all right because he's going to create those jobs. He's going to create those mining jobs for all those blue collar workers to mine Bitcoin in the U.S.
Right.
He said that.
He has guaranteed that Bitcoin will be made in the USA. So thank God we're saved that a digital currency, whatever.
At least he's got a concept of a plan of that.
He does. Actually, you know what? We have a video. Most people I don't think I've seen this video of Donald Trump and how he makes his cabinet choices. This is exclusive.
It's revealing.
Right. It's very revealing. This is how Donald Trump is making his cabinet choices. All right. You ready?
Yeah, get ready, people.
You saw it here first. Remember this.
Okay, so who are you?
I'm the Secretary of Energy.
I won a contest, got to be a cabinet member. I'm the Secretary of State, brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because they pay me every time I do. It's a really good way to make money. You're so smart, why don't you know that? The Secretary of Defense. And fun bags over there is the Attorney General.
And that's Secretary of Education.
It's kind of stupid, but he's President Camacho's stepbrother. Still does a pretty good job, eh?
You know, I think there's been some kind of mistake, because the test I took was real easy. I am not the smartest guy in the world. Okay? Okay, even if that were true, I can't be the Secretary of the Interior. I don't even know what it is.
I'm sorry. That's actually from the movie Idiocracy from 2006. And the more and more that Donald Trump's administration takes shape, it's like he predicted the future almost.
I cannot believe how accurate that movie is. For over a year now, you're like, this movie is spot on. And like, I thought it was bad enough, and then you showed me that before the show, and I cannot believe that's like exactly what's going on. If people don't know what the word nepotism is, trust me, we're going to cover it in our series about explaining words to MAGA. But nepotism is essentially everyone that's either your family or your friends or, you know, people that give you favors, you fill your cabinet with. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Look at what Donald Trump's cabinet is shaping up to be. Well, if the people he nominates even make it to Inauguration Day. Because, like,
no kidding.
They're dropping out.
Yeah, they are dropping like flies. And a lot of people, even in the Republican Party, are not happy with these choices. Now, the question is, will they bow down to Trump? Because they have been for the last however many years. So some of the choices that are in jeopardy, MAGA is already out. Thank God.
Let's take a look.
As a replacement. Yeah, let's look.
Let's take a look because but we got, how many of these people will fall in the clown show? Because when you really think about it, this is a clown car. The Donald Trump administration is a clown car, and he's trying to stuff people in, and some people are running away from it. Matt Gaetz was one of the first. Okay, we remember he was under investigation by Congress. And minutes before they were about to release their report on him, he's like, nah, I withdraw my name. Why? Right. Because to protect my position as a kitty diddler, he said, I removed myself from having to answer any questions in front of Congress. Now, he didn't say that, but we know that's what happened. Because that day, the congressional committee got another call about another person that he did very bad things to that was willing to testify. So that's a little suspicious.
A little bit.
We got this guy. All right. Most people don't remember him because it kind of went under the radar. But once you realize how hard the job is, he was like, whoa, hell no. This is a quote from him. Over the past several days, as the gravity of this very important responsibility set in, I've concluded that I must respectfully withdraw from consideration, Chronister wrote. I forget his first name. Now, what really happened is, Jeremy, what really happened?
Oh, he had to get an FBI background check. He's like, oh.
Because there are still some remaining threads of protection and checks and balances left. Before Donald Trump takes office, there's still some things that are holding. And even when he takes office, it's not going to be easy for him to just ignore FBI background checks and Senate hearings and confirmation hearings. That's fundamental. So what else do we got? Well, my favorite Nazi, Pete Hegseth. He totally promised he would not have a drink on the job because literally he said that the other day, that he promised he would not have a drink on the job. Now, I am not knocking anyone that has alcoholic problems or, has alcoholism. What I'm saying is when someone is going for a job interview and they say, I promise I won't drink when it's really important, that's like straight up alcoholism. That's literally how it works because that's not a reasonable thing to say. Don't worry. I won't drink when it's important.
Right. No, I'll be hammered the rest of the time, but when it's important, totally sober.
Now, there's a lot of back and forth. Is Hegseth going to resign? It looks like the answer is no, but most people agree he's not going to make it through the confirmation process. But he was asked directly if he was going to resign, and he had a very interesting answer.
He did. Here's the video of him being.
Have you had any conversations with the president-elect without him replacing you with Governor DeSantis?
I spoke to the president-elect this morning. He said, keep going, keep fighting. Behind you all the way.
So you're in this all the way?
Why would I back down? I've always been a fighter. I'm here for the war fighters. This is personal passion for me.
You're not withdrawing your name from consideration, just to be clear.
We're meeting all day with senators.
I know your mom was just on Fox. She says that you are a change.
I love how they pull the reporter away before she
Get out of here. Get out of here. Whoa, reporter, you asking questions. What are you doing?
Because let's not forget Pete Hex's mom's the one that said he's an abuser of women. She said that, and then of course, after I'm sure a lot of pressure by some very powerful people, she went on Fox News. He's a changed man. Oh my God.
Like, let me tell you something. We have in almost the same week the potential Secretary of Defense whose mommy had to go on TV and be like, yeah, he's a scumbag, but he's my scumbag, so you should vote for him. And then we have Nick Fuentes, an actual literal incel Nazi, get arrested from his mommy's basement because he pepper sprayed a woman who was like, you suck.
And took her phone and smashed it. Yeah.
So like, these hyper masculine alpha men that Donald Trump surrounds himself with. And yes, Nick Fuentes is someone that is canoodled with Donald Trump. These are not real men. These are despicable, broken little baby men who need to take it out on the world to prove how tough they are.
Dude, Nick
That's what these are.
Nick Fuentes openly is proud of being an incel. I didn't know this until recently, but incel actually stands for involuntary celibate, which just basically means nobody wants to have sex with you.
These are the people that continuously post, okay, I don't have sex with vaccinated women. And then the overwhelming response is, vaccines work.
Nick Fuentes, I was looking up videos on him, and he was like, he once said that he doesn't have sex because he thinks having sex is a gay act.
Yes, because that's another modern. The incel movement has now moved on to, if you don't have sex for solely the reason of procreation, even sex with a woman is gay. That's what's happening. They're so demented. They don't even understand what they're talking about, to the point where it's becoming so obvious that people are just laughing at them. I'm not even afraid of these people anymore. They're just stupid.
Luke Beasley did an interview with a couple where the guy, a married couple, where the man said that having sex for reasons other than procreation is gay sex, and his wife is just sitting there like agreeing with him. But I guarantee if that's the fact at home, she's getting something from somewhere.
Hold on.
Sheldon
has a great comment.
But you know what? Sad people can agree on healthcare. See, I'm trying now, right?
Damn.
We're going to talk about how the fact that like more people agree on the internet than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
About this healthcare, United Healthcare CEO.
Well, like one thing I do
left,
want to point
right,
out,
doesn't matter. These people,
no, they all
in
agree.
agreement.
Someone said on my Instagram, 111 Bravo said, just be sure to consider what they say versus what they can actually do. Don't let them get control of the narrative or suck all the oxygen out of the room. And I think that's important. And in one of our later segments about covering up the Democratic stars that should be taking over the party, a common thread that you're going to see, these people are no longer letting the Republicans control the narrative, because what Democrats have always been terrible at is not calling out Republicans for being scumbags, bigots, and fascists.
Right.
And I think that time is over, because all the people that are taking the airtime from the new, what I'll call Democratic Party, are people that are not going to let the Republicans control the narrative. And that's what the independent media has to do, digital media, because corporate media is not going to do it. The rest of us have to make sure that no matter what bullshit these idiots say, we still point out what they do and show what scumbags and hypocrites they are. That's important.
So the possible replacement for Hegseth is Ron DeSantis.
That's Ron DeSantis. Sorry.
That's Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis. Yes.
Ron Petcher.
Sorry.
Okay, so Ron DeSantis, possibly will be in charge. Jesus Christ, he's just, oh my God.
Just say
it's awful. But the best response to this question was when they asked Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania if he would vote for Ron DeSantis to be Secretary of Defense. And his response was, yeah, I'll vote for him if he admits that he has at least 3 or 4 inch lip deals in his
He actually said that.
He
Oh,
actually
man.
said that on the news. I love Fetterman because he's one of those guys that just doesn't pull punches. So,
this I agree
getting
too.
Out of hand.
Sean H said, Dems must campaign 24/7, 365. I think you make a good point. I think that the word campaigning needs to evolve because there is no real campaign season anymore. They just cram you full of commercials right before. But if you're paying attention to digital media and progressive media and independent media, in many ways, their campaigning is going on the whole time because we're actually telling you what's going on. So I think to the heart of what this comment was, the Democratic Party, especially these new younger leaders, need to understand that, get these sound bites out, call these people out. It takes 2 seconds to point out bullshit, post a video, and then go do a quick interview. So you no longer need to wait to schedule and make sure I'll get to the studio and I'll be on that. No, that's all bullshit. Campaign constantly by constantly pointing out what the other side is doing. It's as simple as that. Make your daily appearances and everything you say part of your campaign. That's how I see it.
I agree. Okay, so another person whose nomination is in trouble. Well, there's a couple that are questionable, and the one that worries me the most is Kash Patel, which we're not going to talk about today. We're actually going to
little weirdo.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he uses a lot of cocaine, allegedly, possibly. I can't verify that, obviously. So it's just my opinion based on his behavior, unless he just has
the fact
a
that
lot
he doesn't blink.
Right, he's like this. He's always like. He's always got the sniffles, man. I'm telling you. So we have a video.
Cover him in detail.
Yeah, we have a great video of him with Don Jr. doing an interview, and Don Jr.'s eyes are barely open.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the screen, you got this guy sniffling away and talking and grinding his teeth. It's just,
what's funny? I can't
idiotic.
wait until there's actually like a press grouping of some reporters with some of the people in Trump's administration. And one of the reporters, like, there seems to be a cold going around because everyone in Trump's administration is constantly sniffling and wiping their nose.
Like, do you remember that interview that Don Jr. did with I already forgot the vice president's name. What's that guy's name again? JD Vance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. JD Vance couldn't get a word in. Because Don Jr. was
Mile a minute. Don Jr. was like, hey, squirrel. Oh.
It was so bad. All right. Anyway, the other person that's nomination is in jeopardy is Tulsi Gabbard, who Russian television has come out and said that, yes, she is a Russian asset. That is not allegedly. That is what the Russians are saying.
Look, also, we know that she's a Russian agent. She's been under investigation for being a Russian agent. She is on the federal watch list for being. She's literally on the freaking federal watch list for traitors. Like, and she's going to be, the fact that you even nominate someone that is, I mean, I know the irony of what I'm saying, that a traitor would nominate a traitor. But the fact that you're going to nominate a traitor means you don't even care what people perceive of you. We know that because he's got the power, and he's going to put in play people that make his master. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, this was just a picture that Putin sent me. Him and I are buddies.
We have a lot of exclusive footage on the show.
Yeah. Donald Trump is going to put in place multiple people who are known Russian assets, okay? Yeah. Including himself. There's a reason, we're not going to talk about it today, but the Assad regime in Syria just fell. That is a Putin-backed regime. Okay, Iran is not doing very well.
Who Tulsi Gabbard has ties to.
Exactly. So what you're actually seeing right now, because just as a quick sidebar, Putin is not winning the war in Ukraine. Okay, there's a lot of dead Russians that are just sitting there because they can't gain any ground. So you're actually seeing a point in time where Russia is strategically, because NATO backed Ukraine and helped defend against a fascist, that Russia is not doing too well. And now one of the biggest places that Russia sells arms to, the Assad regime, doesn't exist anymore. There's a huge risk of Russia toppling in the next few years, except for the fact that America now is run by the #1 Putin apologist. So we could have seen a Russia without Putin real soon. Now I don't know what we're going to see.
Yep.
You have a Tulsi Gabbard.
is Tulsi Gabbard spreading Russian propaganda. This, I believe, was from a couple of years ago, talking that Ukraine has biolabs. On Tucker Carlson's show, who is I think he's currently in Russia, I believe, having a good old time. He's definitely a Russian asset too, paid very well, by the way.
What would be your response to Mitt Romney?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to point out here that this is not a matter of disagreement or holding a dissenting view. This is about facts, and this is about the truth. So while Senator Romney and all these different talking heads in the mainstream media are regurgitating Hillary Clinton's slanderous talking points, the facts remain. Number one is they're accusing me of saying that somehow there are bioweapons labs in Ukraine. I've said no such thing at any point. I have said that there are biolabs in Ukraine that have received U.S. support that contain dangerous pathogens, that if those labs are breached, then we in the world are facing a potential future of pandemics.
Wait. I would like to point out
the next sentence. Well, go ahead, man. Go ahead and say it.
No, I never said this. No. Look, I get, because to be fair, the Republicans are way better at equivocating their reality because they have no self-respect. So what she said is, I never said that Ukraine had bioweapons labs, but what I did say is that they have biolabs that could be breached. And when you say breached, do you mean by the Russians who are invading their country that we're trying to help stop? And also, Tulsi, because you clearly don't have a brain in you, biolabs aren't necessarily a bad thing, because we do need to study dangerous diseases and other pathogens. Right. So you need to have places that are secure to study these things. You don't just like eradicate them, and then when it happens and occurs naturally, we have no way to figure out how to fight against it. But your big argument is that the Russians are going to take over the labs. Yes, because they're fighting them. So stop the fighting by protecting them, and then defend. Where does he find these people? Tulsi Gabbard is such a polished trader and such a polished propagandist. Every word out of her mouth is Putin approved, is a Putin talking point, and is a Soviet methodology. That's all Trump has: billionaires and Soviet spies. That's what his cabinet is. It's really not hard to see, because they're not hiding that fact.
Not at all. Not at all. And the guy that they are now working for, Donald Trump, recently went on an interview on, I believe it was MSNBC, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't know. So. We'll play the clip. And like we said before, because even MAGA's in denial about this, they're like, we don't care if he deports illegal immigrants as long as he doesn't deport Americans. Well, guess what? We have a video now of Donald Trump saying he's going to deport Americans that are born to illegal immigrants and deport them back to where they came from. What does that mean? They're from the United States. They were born in the United States. But now here's Donald Trump saying they're going to deport American citizens. Like, why didn't people listen before the election?
This reporter, Zara Tom Homan, said they can be deported together. Correct. Is that the plan?
Well, that way you keep well, I don't want to be breaking up families, so the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together, and you have to send them all back.
Even kids who are here legally?
Well, what you going to do if they want to stay with the father? Look.
So he's so compassionate because he's such a kind Christian that he doesn't want to break up families. And since the cages thing went over a little poorly, he'll just deport kids born in the U.S. with their parents. Now, if you haven't read the amendment that explains, I believe it's the 14th Amendment, I think, that has an explained birthright citizenship, it's very clear. It's actually an incredibly clear amendment. It literally says anyone born in the U.S. is an American citizen.
Yep.
So, Donald, if you're going to get rid of naturalization, you have two routes. You get rid of naturalization based on some sort of ethnic criteria, and you're a despicable Hitler wannabe, or you get rid of it entirely because you're an idiot and then no longer is anyone in this country an American citizen. Then you have to consider, how do we decide if someone becomes an American citizen? Well, do you pass a test? Do you create a test that only allows certain people to be citizens if they pass it? So really what's going on here is Donald Trump doesn't understand how anything works. MAGA, who voted for him, doesn't understand how anything works, and it doesn't care as long as it's a racist answer and it doesn't affect them.
It's so bad, man.
But this isn't even something that can actually happen because it's going to get fought everywhere. The only way it passes is if the compromised Supreme Court sides with whoever says we want to get rid of naturalization, because it's going to get fought. And honestly, I can't imagine it passing, but I don't trust the Supreme Court. So
he can do a lot of damage though until it gets fought in court. We've
Because
all seen how slow the Department of Justice works. And
what people don't understand is the way you get around that is you do it first and then it gets tied up. So he'll just start rounding up people and putting them in cages and camps or deporting them directly and go, sue me. Well, it's too late. You just destroyed those people's lives. So
honestly, the reason we're in this situation is because our justice system failed. Donald Trump should be in prison already, dude. Why are we even talking about Donald Trump still? The dude should be in jail for the rest of his life for treason, stealing classified documents, war plans, nuclear codes.
It's all right. It's all right. Merrick Garland has a plan.
Is that not, I'm sorry, but like there used to be a thing called treason in this country, right? Like if I remember American history vaguely, or most countries, any country, treason's been a thing.
This is a good point.
How do you do all this stuff?
Sharonda made a good point. It's one that you were pushing a lot of. What I don't understand is why no one is talking about when Trump said they had a secret to winning the House or the Senate. What was that secret, and did it involve election interference?
Yeah,
you know what? I assume it did. I don't have proof. Jeremy doesn't have proof. So as an entity, we will not say what we think happened because that's our opinion. What we're going to do is you'll see what Gavin Newsom says at the end of the show today. It's a little cryptic. I'm surprised he said anything. I don't have faith in anyone anymore in our government, but there might be some answers coming. I don't know, but you're 100% right. I don't know what that.
The reason I'm so anxious about this Gavin Newsom video is because it kind of ties everything together for me. It ties everything together for me, like because the Russians after the election were like, "Hey, Donald, we did you that favor." They openly said it too. We did you that favor. For the election, we did you that favor. So you're gonna have to return that favor now. We scratched your back, and now you're gonna lick our butthole.
Don't forget
for the rest of your life.
Russia isn't looking for Donald Trump to succeed at anything. Russia, Putin has said, we will destroy the United States without firing a shot. Their goal isn't to help us, to guide us, to commandeer us, to even take over. They want us destroyed because the Soviets lost, and Vladimir Putin, who was a Soviet-trained spy, KGB spy, still hates America and has vowed to destroy us. That's like how this worked. That's what the Cold War was.
Is weakening our national defense. And Putin is watching it. And he said it, too, about when he picked Kash Patel. I believe he said Kash Patel would dismantle America.
Yep.
Yeah. So Putin is very happy because right now we look like a giant joke. But I think there's hope at the end of this nightmare, I think. Anyway, let's get into the CEO, the United Healthcare CEO that was assassinated. Everybody sees the video, so we're not to show it here.
Let me do the disclaimer.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this isn't sarcastic. We mean it, but we're saying it's sarcastic because clearly so many people don't understand what the outcry or what the vocal response has been, what it's really about. So let me say the voice of reason does not condone murdering anyone. What we are going to point out is that there are so many people in this country that are suffering due to what we call a healthcare system, and we have some stuff to back up how despicable it is, by the way. We don't just make claims here. We are not condoning the murder, but we are condoning is the outrage people feel against people like the CEO. Again, no one should shot him, but the outrage is valid, and we're going to show it. It's as simple as
I think this is a good case to fuck around and find out. And we're going to show you how he fucked around, and the end result is him finding out. These are the consequences of his own actions.
Don't let me forget. Sheldon had a great comment about something I want to talk about later.
So here's I found a clip. CNN. This basically describes the entire internet's reaction to this guy being tragically assassinated.
CNN story that was just published about this. They note that a Facebook post that was put up by United Health Group expressing sadness about the CEO's death. It received 62,000 reactions. 57,000 of them were laughing emojis.
I mean, that's sad to think about.
I shouldn't be laughing. I'm sorry, but
Look,
I've never seen the internet collectively come together
Yeah,
like this.
it's rare. I mean, look,
Nobody feels bad for the guy, okay?
And
Nobody feels
again,
bad for the guy.
I feel
don't
bad for
the
his
guy.
family. I don't
Yeah.
think he should have been murdered. But when you see the things that not only he was involved in, but what is basically the common practice in our healthcare system, it's not a healthcare system. And this is a perfect example of how people understand that. All right. This guy, maybe he was nice to his kids and he was a good husband, but the decisions he made led to the death of people in this country because it was not profitable to save them.
It's the reason I don't feel bad for guys. I see him as a mass murderer. I see like an insurance
He's
companies
complicit
in the
in
United
it.
States. Yeah, denying healthcare, used the algorithm. They had a 90% error rate.
Well,
for
let's
an
get to
AI
that.
program that had a 90%. Yeah, they intentionally didn't give people the treatment that they paid for.
Yep. So
let's
let's look
get into
here.
it.
Who is this guy? Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO. The portfolio that Thompson managed generated $74 billion in revenue in the most recent quarter, making it the largest subsidiary of Minnetonka, Minnesota-based United Healthcare Group. His $10.2 million annual compensation package. I love how they don't even call it a salary, including salary, bonus, and stock options awards. Like, you got a whole big package of shit, made him one of the company's highest paid executives. Well, let's look at how the average pay is for executives. This was from 2022, so you guarantee yourself that these numbers went up. Number one, okay, 22.13 million. And it goes down from there. But what's most important is looking at the CEO pay ratio. Guess who that little itty bitty one is? That's the average employee that works at that company. Okay, so the person who types all day, does any of the work, those people are making 1 to their 278 times. CVS Healthcare, they're making less, 21.32. It's less, but look at how egregious that ratio is, 380 to 1. These people make dick loads of money to determine who dies and who lives based on how much money it will cost their company. That is how this works, okay? Look at this guy. This was said recently. United CEO Andrew Whitty gave an address to the company today, leaked to this person, telling employees that, quote, we guard against unnecessary care, and that there are very few people in the history of the U.S. healthcare industry who had a bigger positive effect on American healthcare than Brian Thompson, the guy who was shot.
When he says
Unnecessary
effect.
care. So if I need care, that care is important to me because it keeps me alive or raises my quality of life or maintains my quality of life. There are now people who are not doctors whose job it is to give you a value asset denomination to determine if your care is unnecessary. Well, what they mean by that is, well, we're not going to offer palliative care to that person dying because fuck it, they're dying anyway.
Yeah.
No, what you do is you give care to keep their life as nice as possible until they die. But that's not what the healthcare for-profit industry is about.
Yeah, and when they say he had a positive effect on American healthcare, they meant their pockets, not actual
Now,
healthcare.
what Jeremy said earlier is this is true. The CEO that got shot deployed an algorithm to determine who would be rejected for care. So now they are putting that decision in a mathematical formula because AI is not a real thing. There's no intelligence behind it. It's just hyper fast calculations. So they are using incredibly complex algorithms to decide who lives and dies based on how much money it will save the company. That man who got shot deployed that. Now, we don't know who shot him. Doesn't matter. It was wrong.
No.
But what would be
The
interesting
internet
to find
seems
out
to
if we
love
ever
this guy.
find that person, which we won't, is who they are because of who they knew.
Dude,
all right.
Let's go over what happened. Like, all
What
right,
did they
so
know?
he shot the guy right out in the open with a silencer, which they're not hard to. I mean, they're very highly regulated in the United States. Okay, guns, no.
Oddly. Oddly.
suppressors are, and there's usually like in Pennsylvania, I think there's a 6-month wait list to get one. Yeah, so they're not easy to get. The carvings on the gun jammed 3 times or twice, and I could have had to do with the carvings or they said it was carved onto the gun. I don't know if it was written.
Yeah, whatever.
But something caused the gun to jam, and he quickly, I saw you watch the video, he quickly clears it. The guy knows what he's doing. Rode off on a fucking city e-bike, dropped his backpack in the park full of Monopoly money, and then bounced. Nobody knows where he's at. They know he's gone from the city.
I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but
everybody's blind.
What you're seeing is a new era of this is Robin Hood. This is a form of vigilante justice, which of course I do not condone, but you're going to see it when people are watching their kids die because of a choice that a robot made or a CEO made, when grandparents have to suffer and die because the coverage isn't approved because of, again, profit margins. At some point, that population is going to eat the rich. It's just going to happen because there are too many people in this country suffering because of lack of coverage. Okay. I have stories in my own family. Jeremy has stories in his own family. Everyone has stories of coverage being denied. So when they say we have health insurance that's there to help you, but you still have to pay something, and we're probably not going to cover any of it. That's not healthcare. Right. That's not.
Here is all I'm going to say about, like, I think America got it wrong from the start. Okay. The rich white people in America invented racism as a way to control all population. Okay. Not just So we should have been from the beginning, because they saw all these immigrants, white immigrants coming over that were poor as all hell. And they were like, oh my God. Tim Wise actually does a great speech on this. They're like, oh my God, there was a lot of them. So if the slaves and these poor white folks figure it out that we're suppressing all of them, they might unite and rise up against us. So what do? They create racism. They turn the minority into monsters to keep the poor white people in control. And it's still going on centuries later. Okay.
That's why simple.
Racism in America should have been about rich versus poor from the start. Why the fuck are we letting 800 billionaires and a handful of millionaires in this country control us?
And
why?
What you need to understand,
far outnumber these people, and we let them control every fucking aspect of our lives, and it pisses me off to no end. And that's what we should be fighting for. It should be rich versus poor. I'm not saying violence, but we can do a lot as a united front without being violent. We control the internet, man. The minority, all of us small creators and a lot of stuff. We control what people see. We control the information for now until Donald Trump takes office. But we allow these rich assholes to just manipulate us and subjugate us. And it's pathetic. It is honestly pathetic, especially when I see countries like South Korea.
Yeah, they were like, we don't need guns to stop a coup. We're just going to bum rush you and stop you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if the rest of us came together, not just the people that voted for Kamala Harris, but the people that didn't vote, you're talking a couple 100 million people. What are they going to do against a couple 100 million people that are united? Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I went off on this tangent because one of my followers on Instagram, the comment was "crush the oligarchy."
The reason you're right
and it
about
triggered
that
me on this whole
is because people don't understand. It's not. How do I phrase this? The healthcare system in this country is shit for 2 reasons. So that billionaires can profit, but it is intentional, because if you have a miserable, poor, unhealthy, suffering majority, the minority can rule them.
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
all connected. It's not that hard.
It doesn't make sense, but we allow it to happen. We're so programmed to have it's pathetic.
It's not even just us. And I think it's important to point out that the things we say, they come from our mind, but they're not unique thoughts. A lot of people are feeling the same thing. And I want to show a couple of different opinions. Major health insurance companies take down leadership pages following murder of United Healthcare CEO. Think about that. Well, but sure, let's track women's fertility and not let them cross state lines while the billionaires hide from the non-existent gun laws. Suddenly a billionaire gets shot and we got to protect all the billionaires. But a bunch of kids get shot every day in this country. And it's like, that's just a fact of life. We can't do anything about it.
I don't remember the name of the insurance company, but they came out with a policy that said they will not cover anesthesia on surgery.
So that was overturned. They reneged on that. That's 100% true. They said they were no longer going to pay for the full length of this anesthesia. And then so many people were like, well, no. And what really happened is they turned course after this guy was shot. And let me explain something. Here's a perfect example of how this affects you before you even know it. Think about this. My wife recently had surgery. The surgery was quoted as 2 hours. The surgery took 6 hours. Why? Because sometimes shit happens. So what would have happened is after the surgery, the insurance company would have said, well, the doctor quoted 2 hours and we agreed to that. You're responsible for 4 hours of anesthesia. Guess what? Anesthesia is like $50,000. Like
I was going to say, it's it's one of the most expensive parts.
When you now go break your leg and need to get fixed in surgery, well, you better hope they understood that x-ray perfectly and know that it only takes 4 hours to fix, not 8 hours.
Bro, I broke my leg 3 years ago. I broke my leg 3 years ago and had to have surgery. Like, can you imagine? Like, or they just cut the anesthesia off after 2 hours. It's like, yo, I don't know what's going on here. All right, so let's have some fun with the reactions. Okay, we're not having fun with the whole, getting killed and whatever, but we're gonna laugh at some of these reactions. One person,
we have to, because you got to find the humor in the irony of it, that this whole country now is protecting a billionaire who died because he's allowing millions of people to suffer and die. People are going to get dark with it.
Right. And I honestly didn't realize how bad people hated the healthcare system until this happened. But this is one of the videos from TikTok.
And you want to see more death? All we got to do is get up and walk out the front door. That is our mayor. He is dead. He has been lying there dead for 3 days. No one has done a thing. Not moved him, not looked into his death, not even replaced him with a temporary appointee. For the last 3 days, the highest ranking official in our town has been a dead guy. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Wolves are dragging the body away as if to illustrate my point. Bye! Bye, Mr. Mayor! Bye! Have fun becoming wolf shit! Bye!
I forgot about the part. Okay, so another reason why I think a lot of people don't care is apparently they still held the shareholders meeting. They're literally walking over this guy's blood.
Yep. They're like, expense.
Right. Well, we still have to figure out how much money we made. That's more important. The CEO got killed. All right, you know what? Delay it by like 5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, the CEO got killed, but here's what your packages are going to be for your kickbacks for this year.
Right, and then looking for his replacement pretty much immediately. It just shows you how much they care about each other, these people, these rich assholes. Okay, so this next video is a little bit longer, but it's one of my favorite comedians he's on TikTok, Instagram, Gregory Johnstone. It's from England. And he does these little skits with himself, and he does them so brilliantly. He does them on politics, it covers American stuff, or American news. So this is the video that he made on it, and I just died laughing when I saw this.
Sir, about the United Healthcare CEO that was murdered? Do we have any eyewitnesses? Only a few. Most people said they're actually considered legally blind. How is it never seen a crime? They all see a homeless man shitting on the subway. What did the people who can actually see say? One said delighted, another overjoyed. A man lost his life. One sent thoughts and copays. Well, that's not right. And one said they had a Titan submersible level of empathy. Did the investors he was meeting see anything? No, they just stepped over his blood to start the meeting on time. Seems a little heartless. We have released a picture of the suspect. Oh, he's so hot. How about that jawline? He may have just murdered someone. That's not a red flag. Well, at least he didn't gaslight him. Oh yeah, this is better. Also looks like 58% of under 30 finance bros. He's not a finance bro. He's a trained assassin. What makes you say that? His firearm had a silencer on it. Maybe he just grew up playing GoldenEye. Does anyone have motive? 29 million upset United Healthcare customers? That narrows it down. The bullets had delay and deny on them, which are tactics they use to not pay medical expenses. We don't know it was an unhappy customer. Well, United did make over $20 billion last year. Good for them. But they did so by having AI wrongfully deny 90% of elderly patients care. That's not great. And they buried medical reports. Bad look. And they paid off doctors for rubber-stamped recommendations. Okay, but why take it out on the CEO? Because he personally made over $10 million last year? That doesn't make him a bad guy. No, but it does make him a dead one.
Oh, that's so good. I'm sorry. I should laugh so hard.
Look,
I feel
if
bad.
you're just tuning in, we very much lean into the dark humor because it's the only way we don't lose our minds, especially after November 5th. So just this is what you're gonna get. Sorry.
But I can't help. But the guy's an evil person, though. The guy's an evil person.
Well, look, here's
the
two
CEO.
more opinions.
If you want to break it down,
just some perspective. No shit, murder is bad. The jokes about the United CEO aren't really about him. See, they're about the rapacious healthcare system he personified and which Americans feel deep pain and humiliation about. Also, just wondering why lying in wait for someone and then putting several bullets into them is premeditated murder, but creating an algorithm to deny someone the medication that keeps them alive isn't.
Right.
It's not hard to understand that Americans are really pissed and mad that they do not have any health protections in this country. The fact that we just elected someone in that's going to try and make it harder for us by allowing these billionaires to screw us more, to remove any regulation on them, and to destroy the Affordable Care Act, which so many people are finally just realizing is Obamacare. So they like the Affordable Care Act, but they hate Obamacare. So, but that's what you elected. So guess what? Get ready to be dying and denied coverage because that's what you wanted in the White House.
This just goes to show you how truly dumb Trump supporters are. Like you just said, Mike, they thought they were voting against the Obamacare, but they have the Affordable Care Act and did not know it was the same thing. And the part that I think is funny is because the Republicans are the ones that nicknamed the whole thing Obamacare. It's always been called.
And they did it that way to get people to hate it.
Right. And all they had to do was give it an evil name of somebody they think that like the boogeyman.
Ooh, the boogeyman care.
Right. Exactly. That's all they had to do. And Republican voters are like, oh my God, Obamacare is communism.
Voters don't research anything. They ask their aunts and their cousins on Facebook what QAnon said, and then they go, that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. So
I think those days could be coming to an end if we embrace these new Democratic leaders that are emerging. That's the only way.
Yes.
We need people that are going to fight.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to get into.
I know. I smelt this idea.
It's good that we have the young voters or the young leadership coming through because Biden is clocked out apparently for the time being. I'm sure. I mean, he's old, he's tired, but here's
whatever.
And I hate to show it, but here's a video of him falling asleep in Africa at some summit he was at, and we'll talk about it.
Tanzania's commitment to regional integration and shared prosperity. We note the progress made on the development of the Lobito corridor and commend the visionary leadership that has brought this initiative to life. And it is through such partnerships and innovations.
Nudge him, man.
Look,
nobody's even looking at him.
No one who is 80 should be president. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. We're at that point where Donald Trump shouldn't be president. Biden, when he stepped down, was the right move. Okay. Don't say it wasn't. It absolutely was. It's embarrassing and it sucks. Now, is him falling asleep as embarrassing as that handshake that Trump gave the French president yesterday at the opening of Notre Dame? No. If you haven't seen the video, he comes in vertically, he grabs the hand and he's like, it's really ridiculous. The guy's out of his mind. But it's time for Donald Trump.
I heard he got booed.
It's time for the Donald Trump. It's time for the Joe Bidens, the Nancy Pelosi's. They did their job. Get them out of here. Yes, I'm done with them. And the reason is because we have young leadership coming from the Democratic side who are far more a part of a progressive movement than a strict Democratic Party. And these people are speaking up and they are done playing around.
Yeah.
And I think they are people who a lot of people do like.
Yeah. Jared Moskowitz is one who a lot of people really do like. He is going to be involved in this entire Doge disaster. And I think because, all right, so look, they're going to cut as many programs as possible. So I feel a little bit more comfortable with somebody like Jared Moskowitz involved. Okay.
Absolutely.
So he could run defense, especially since he's going to be going straight head to head with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yep.
Who, let's not forget, was put in charge of this fucking fiasco. They're literally making
I'm not worried about her.
They're making up entire departments for people.
Yep.
That gave Donald Trump money. It's like, hey, I gave you, this much money, guy.
Think about it. No, but you know what?
Insane.
They're making an oversight committee for a department that doesn't exist just to keep Marjorie Taylor Greene's mouth shut so she has something to do so they can guarantee her vote when they want to destroy this country. That's all this is.
She doesn't, apparently, according to her, expose all of their sexual misconduct. And again, this is her words. She said that the Democrats would have a supermajority, which means 2/3. So that's a lot. That means a lot of Republicans are involved. And are deviants. So let's play the video of Jared Moskowitz.
Look, I think it's the time for staying in safe spaces is over. We should be able to go in spaces and have that conversation. I joined with a specific focus because I've been working on for years trying to get FEMA out of the Department of Homeland Security. I think the Department of Homeland Security was a great idea. I think it's still necessary. But I think over the last 20 years, it's become too big. And so I think FEMA needs to be a direct report to the White House like it was when it was originally created. I think there's evidence that Secret Service probably should come out of DHS and also be a direct report to the White House. So that's where these conversations are going to have, and so I'm willing to go there and have it. I'm sure there's going to be things that Elon and Vivek are going to come up with that I'm vehemently going to disagree on, and I will make sure that I'm a loud voice voting against that stuff. But we got to go to where the conversations are happening. The idea that we're not going to go to these places and just pretend the conversations aren't happening is not a way to conduct business here.
They are going to hate him. Oh my God.
Yep.
They hate him in Congress because he runs his mouth. And,
he embarrasses the shit out of those morons. They are so out of their league with him. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene running that committee is going to be like, man, shut up, you're mean. And he's going to be like, well, if you actually look at this law here, blah, blah, blah. And she's going to get so angry and look like such a fool. I can't wait.
Yeah. So another one that gies me hope is Jasmine Crockett, Representative.
I love
Jasmine
her.
Crockett.
She is a national treasure.
I'm sorry, I have a crush on her. I do. I will admit, she's my congressional crush, I guess. So yeah, here's her response. Yeah, I just said that. That's gross. All right, so yeah, she gives her opinion. They asked her. This was when Joe Biden pardoned Hunter. And everybody was so clutching their
pearls. My pearls.
I actually made a video about it, Matt, and then the thumbnail it says MAGA clutches pearls.
That's all they do.
Right. Like all this shit they've done over the years, all this stuff. The Donald Trump, the liable for sexual assault, convicted of 34 felonies, the indictments, all that stuff is fine. And he has pardoned some sick people and appointed one of them to his cabinet. Jared Kushner's dad was pardoned by Donald Trump and now is part of Donald Trump's staff at the White House. So I don't want to hear shit because if they want to put, let's not forget. I wanted to say this real quick. Hunter Biden had a plea deal. Hunter Biden had a plea deal that was approved by both parties, and the Trump judge rejected it. And they wanted to throw him in jail for 48 fucking years for buying a gun while on drugs, which I guarantee most of MAGA people have. Yes, I guarantee it. Which they usually said is not even, they usually don't even prosecute that kind of thing.
Nope.
And for back taxes that he paid. They wanted to put him in jail for the rest of his life.
They were just trying to attack Joe Biden, intimidate him, and that's it.
Joe Biden protecting his son is just, to me, just proves that Joe Biden's a good father and is looking out for his son.
Also,
and going against because Joe Biden didn't want to pardon him, but he didn't have a choice. They left him no choice. So here's
what I'm interested in is in the next 4 years when Don Jr. gets pulled over with like a cooler full of cocaine in it. What Donald Trump does with that?
Yeah, I wouldn't even. That's not even something that would shock me. If they found him with that much. But here's her response. This is why I love her.
Well, I won't pretend to speak for the entire caucus, but I will say, way to go, Joe. Let me be the first one to congratulate the president for deciding to do this, because at the end of the day, we know that we have a 34-count convicted felon that is about to walk into the White House. So for anyone that wants to clutch their pearls now because he decided that he was going to pardon his son, I would say take a look in the mirror. Because we also know that when it comes to this cabinet has more people accused of sexual assault than any incoming cabinet probably ever in the history of America. So we are living in unprecedented times, and we know that this was completely political. As someone who serves on the Oversight Committee, this was gamesmanship the entire time.
Right. And they wanted to go up. He is a private citizen, never had a government position. He's not, not in charge of anything that has anything to do with the American government.
Nope.
And they went after him. Okay. But then when Matt Gaetz resigned, they didn't want to go after him. And their reason is now he's a private citizen and the government shouldn't go after private citizens.
So Mike Johnson, who's in charge of Congress and has done nothing with that, he has two very interesting diametrically opposed statements. One where he says the United States has every right to go after Hunter Biden, even though he's a private citizen. And then he literally says the United States cannot go after Matt Gaetz because he's a private citizen.
Excuse me, what? That changed quick.
But I think it's important to notice what Jasmine Crockett did. She gets asked by a question and then immediately shifts focus to what actually matters. She doesn't waste time talking about Joe Biden's pardon of his son. She does peripherally, but the bulk of her comment is, that's great and all, but we just elected a 34-time felon. Isn't that a big deal? Shouldn't we talk about that?
That should be bigger. Yeah. And
that's what Democrats have never done for a long time. And that's a big difference.
They prosecuted Trump for actual crimes that he committed. They went after Hunter Biden specifically just because he's Joe Biden's son. That was their reason. They wanted to smear Joe Biden
everyone
and throw his son in jail. That's it. And they showed pictures of his freaking junk on the House floor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
All right. Let's get into the finale. The reason we are optimistic, and the video I promised to show you
cautiously
at the beginning of it. And why we're going to discuss this afterwards. The video and audio quality is not the best, but it's the only video I can find in short time. So here's Gavin Newsom talking about something just very cryptic about.
But he's also not an idiot, so he deliberately said what he said, how he said it.
Right,
and it's interesting because it's not the first time we've heard something like this.
There are things. My theory has been the Democrats, because the thing that bothered me the most was Kamala Harris just immediately accepted the loss, like the next day.
As close as it was then, now it's even closer.
Right. That bothered me. And then how quiet all of them have been about the election. None of them have come out and said this is bullshit.
Well, you know why?
Isn't right. None of them
can't say election interference because then they'll just be as bad as Trump and MAGA. They'd wait for proof if there is.
So my theory has been something is going to come out and it's going to shake us to our core. And it's going to happen before Donald Trump gets inaugurated.
Yep.
Okay. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are involved, Elon Musk included.
Yep.
Directed by Russia. My theory, again, not something I can prove, but this is my theory, and I'm hoping I'm right. With all the things that have been said, Donald Trump saying, we don't need you to vote. We have enough votes. And then saying to Mike Johnson, we have a little secret, you and me. And like saying you have a secret to a camera, it's kind of stupid. But yeah, he goes, we have a secret. Like we have a secret to win the House and the Senate. And, we should be okay, right? Then after the election, Russia coming out and saying, hey, we did you that little favor of yours. Now it's time for you to return that favor. So all these things are, and again, my brain doesn't stop. So maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I've overanalyzed it. Or maybe I'm 100% right, which we have been a lot on this show about our crazy theories because we've been called extreme a lot, like our opinions and stuff, especially me. Mike's more rational than I am. I'm a little bit out there sometimes with my opinions, but here's the video. Sorry.
And I hope you can appreciate if I appear a little political, it's because I'm intentionally trying to be by not answering your question. And what I mean by that is I'm Jon Stewart, who wisely said, be patient. What happened will be revealed. and it won't be revealed in the hours and days election.
Sorry.
That will absorb a deeper understanding over time. And that's the approach I'm taking. I wrote out, I'm not making this up, there's about 6 pages I have in notes. There's my mother and dad's grave in the car of everybody's punditry that completely contradicts everyone else's punditry about what happened. And I did that purposely for my own absorption and edification, that it will reveal itself. I don't have a clear answer to it, and so as a consequence, I won't attempt to answer it.
Yeah.
Reading into it is very easy because the confidence with which Gavin Newsom seems to say that he already knows what's going on and we all will soon. Look, does that give me hope? No. Do I want it to give me hope? Yes. But someone asked a very good question. Yvonne did. Will it cause an uprising? I got to tell you, if they come out and actually show video proof of some sort of horrible stolen election by Donald Trump in Russia, I don't think there'll be an uprising, because I think Americans have been, I know what I'm about to say, but in general, most Americans have been so far removed from the level of insanity and suffering that a true stolen election can look like. And I know we just had January 6th, but we seem to forget how serious that was, and we didn't do anything. And the reason we didn't do anything is because Donald Trump lost. Would there be an uprising? I don't believe so. I honestly don't. But if what Gavin Newsom is hinting at with his confidence and his slyness is anything to the level that he is actually hinting at, we may not need an uprising. I don't know. We don't know. So we're not going to speculate. What I am going to say is, let's see what happens, because that's the difference between the right and the left. The right makes it up and then runs with it. The left is like, I don't know, we'll see. But the old left would have never fought for it. The new left, I think, might.
But this does kind of reaffirm, I think, my one part of my theory that something big is coming. Whether it's what I said it's going to happen, that's very far-fetched and unlikely. But because like my brain works in a very, very, very weird way.
Yep.
But it does look like something big news-wise will come out soon.
They're running out of time, so we'll see.
Right, it has to come out, and they have to have all the ducks. If this is as big as that, that video makes it seem like they have to have everything, all their ducks in a row. They have to.
There are constitutional.
So many
scholars.
things have to align, and so many different organizations have to work together in order.
Yep.
Because this would mean that Russia truly did infiltrate the United States government,
which I think is what they're heading at.
Our democracy.
Looking at who they're putting in the cabinet, all Russian people, or spies, or whatever you want to call them. There's something big. I don't know, but will we see something? I sure hope so. I don't know what it is. Don't know what it's going to look like, and I don't know how it would be resolved. But
we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
So we'll keep you posted. We'll definitely be watching. I'm going to keep looking out for things like this if I can find any more evidence that something big is coming. Because there's got to be more evidence out there we can put together.
We'll see.
So yeah, that's it. I did just start my new job, so it's gonna be hard doing as much research. You know what I mean?
We're gonna have to figure out a new schedule, but we'll get it.
Yeah, and my whole body's sore. Like I haven't done manual labor in a very long time, and like I have parts of my body I didn't even know you could get sore in those places.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my god. I woke up this morning like I feel old. I'm 47, so I should feel like this. But anyway, sorry, got off on the right.
This is acceptable. This is right.
All right, I guess this is how you're supposed to feel at 47, right? Anyway, if you like today's show, please subscribe, send the video to your friends, man. We need some help. We're trying to build something here, something special. We want you to be involved. You're the key to helping us succeed by sharing, liking, and all that, and subscribing. So also, if you do want to donate to the show, because Mike and I desperately need more equipment that we cannot afford, we do have a GoFundMe link in the description of the video. If not, like I said, just please like and subscribe. That's all we really ask of you. We will be back. We'll be recording some content this week, so keep an eye out for that. We usually do 2 to 3 additional shorter episodes a week, and then we'll be back on next Sunday with another fun live episode. So have a good rest of your day, and like always, we will talk to you soon.